Hey everybody! Several of you have asked me about what I am taking for my long haul flight to Australia and New Zealand. And so I thought I would share with you what's going on the airplane with me, what I'm putting in my carry-on item and my personal item. I've got this all spread out on my guest room bed so that I can talk to you about it. My carry-on item is this EF backpack that I got a few years ago. It is not a large backpack. It's very average in size, the kind of backpack that kids would probably take to school. And most of the things that I'm putting in it are items that I will not need to access during the flight. On the very bottom, I'll be putting a couple of changes of clothes. You'll notice here that I have a rolled up dress, a black tunic, and a pair of leggings, as well as my foldable raincoat that I bought in Berlin last summer. It's not warm, but it does serve as a windbreaker and it has a hood. And I decided that it was a better option to bring rather than like an umbrella because it's lighter and it would serve the double purpose of cutting the wind if needed. Combined with what I'm wearing on the flight, I could make 5 different outfits with these 3 pieces of clothing. So I think that that's really important to note in case my luggage is lost. I'm also taking a large school envelope filled with paperwork for my students that are traveling with me. I mean, it's probably 2 or 3 pounds of paperwork if I'm being honest. And I do take a digital copy as well, but sometimes I think it's important to have a paper copy with you just in case. In it, I have all kinds of records for all 24 of my travelers. I have their passports, driver's licenses, their release forms, their medical information, their health insurance cards, all kinds of things in case something gets lost or we have an emergency. In the Ziploc bag, you can see that I have the electrical converters. I have 2 that change the electricity amount to what American appliances use. And then I have 3 of the little wall plugs in case I need those. Here's a fun fact. All Apple products are automatically dual voltage. So all I have to plug in like my phone or my iPad is the little part that goes in the wall. The big part is for other appliances. You can see that I have a couple of blank Ziploc bags, empty ones, so that I can use those as needed on the trip. And then I have a couple of neck wallets. This one is for my friend, the other chaperone who's going, and this one is for me. Those go under your clothes, around your neck, and that's where I will store most of my money, my extra credit card, and my passport, because I carry those things with me always. I also have my makeup bag here because after 14 hours on the plane, I feel quite confident that I'll need to spruce myself up a little bit before landing in New Zealand. This bag has, I guess, my only frivolous item that I'm taking with me. It has my watercolor pad and my travel watercolors in it. And I'm excited to maybe use those on the airplane or even to sit on a beach in New Zealand or Hawaii or somewhere and play with those. I also have my bag of jewelry that I plan to take with me. It's not expensive stuff, it's just costume jewelry, but I do like to put that in my carry-on. Most of these things I do not plan on accessing during the actual flight. The exception to that would be my 2 little toiletry bags here. I have my wet toiletry bag, which is what will have to come out to be checked at the airport to make sure that it meets TSA regulations. And then I have my dry toiletry bag, which doesn't have to be checked, but I want nonetheless. I'm going to put these in the front pocket along with my makeup bag on top. so that when it's close to time to touch down in New Zealand, I can take these 3 bags of items, these small bags, with me to the restroom on the airplane and freshen up. I also have here, and this is kind of hard to see because of the packaging, but these are plastic bracelets that our students wear with the emergency number for EF, the tour company that I use on the inside of them. And I'll actually be handing these out at the airport before we take off tomorrow. So that, I'll get to throw this bag away. I'll hand these out and I'll get to throw them away. But all of those things fit very nicely in that backpack. My personal item is this blue bag that I've been carrying around as a purse here at home, albeit not nearly as full. And this is the bag that I'll put under the seat in front of me so that I can access all of the items in it during the flight. Now you can see that one of the things that goes in it is my travel bag. This is a Kavu brand that I bought at a local sporting goods store probably, 12 or 15 years ago. I love it because it has lots of little pockets and zippered areas, and it's washable. I also love that it's a crossbody bag. It's black, it's very plain, it just kind of blends in, which is what you want, for your purse. I also have my iPad pouch, and you can see here that a lot of things go in that pouch. I have my multi USB charger with my Fitbit charger attached and the iPad charger. I have a couple of extra cords here if I also want to plug in my phone at the same time. I have my earbuds and the little connector thing that the iPad requires, or the iPhone requires. I have my pencil, and then I also have a portable charging bank with its charging cable attached to it. I find when I travel that I need to go ahead and make sure that the charging cables are attached to the items that need them. Otherwise, I invariably leave something at home and then end up paying a fortune for a replacement, in the airport. I also have a giant bag of medicine. Not because I take that many prescriptions, but because I like to be prepared, especially since I'm going nonstop for the 3 weeks or so that I'll be gone. So I have, my daily medicines and my contacts, but then I also have lots of spare various medicines if needed. My doctor's really great about making sure that I have, like an emergency antibiotic in case I get a UTI, or making sure that I have migraine meds and that kind of thing. So I'm really thankful for that. I have a printed out copy of our itinerary for our flights and our hotels, along with the confirmation numbers. Even though I can access that information online or on the cloud, I think it's important to have a hard copy as well. I have my currency, and then I also have the gratuities that I've collected from students, and I have those separated by the different activities that we have to tip for, so that it's easy for me to keep up with those funds and to pass it out on their behalf. I have my compression socks, which will hopefully keep me from getting a blood clot while I'm on this crazy long flight. I've never worn those before, but everything I've read said that it's definitely worth it, and so I snagged a pair locally. I'll let you know how the compression socks thing works out. They're not a fashion statement, but hopefully they will be good for my health and will make me feel better, when I land. I don't think a 14 plus hour flight is anything to sneeze at, so I want to do the things I need to do to keep me healthy. I also have a journal to sketch in. I have a pencil pouch, and I have a traveler's notebook for writing down my thoughts and that kind of thing. I have my selfie stick and my fan from Madrid, because, I have like a 2-degree range of comfort, so I'm either freezing or hot constantly. So I think that'll be good. And of course, I'll want to take selfies of our group and of different things that we're doing as we travel. I have 2 stitching projects One is Pretty Little Sydney and the other is Pretty Little Amsterdam. I bought both of these from Satsuma Street, which is an online shop on Etsy. I have made a couple of their patterns already, and I'm actually working on a gallery wall in my living room where I'm going to hang all of them together to represent cities that I visited. Maybe it's a little bit of a stretch to bring both, but you know what? They make me happy, and I think that's totally okay. Each of these little bags has the pattern in it, and then it has the hoop with the fabric and the floss. Now, I do have a little pair of scissors here that I have traveled with all over the world. They've never been a problem because the blade is so short. You can see from the end of my finger that the blade on them is about 1 inch long. But I have heard some horror stories about how strict the flight people are in New Zealand and Australia. So if they get confiscated, that's something I'll just deal with. I do have a little thread cutter that I'm not sure you can see in this bag. Oh, it's that little pink piece right there. You can see. I do have that, which is, it doesn't have an exposed blade, so I can use that if needed. It's just not quite as strong as a pair of scissors are. I also have a package of tissues. I have this eye mask and earplugs from a train trip that I took a while back and never used. And then I always travel with a rosary, you know, just to be on the safe side, I guess. So there you have it. Those are the things that I am taking with me on the airplane. On the left-hand side, you know, on the left-hand side here, that's what will go in the backpack in the overhead bin, and that I will not try to access during the flight itself, except right before we land in order to freshen up there with my makeup and my toiletries. What is on the right is my personal item bag that will go under the seat in front of me and has all of the goodies to keep me busy while I'm on the airplane for 14 plus hours. I'm a little intimidated by the length of this flight, but I feel like I have a lot to keep me busy. I have my iPad with photos and online scrapbooking, and I'll be buying the internet on the airplane for sure. I have all kinds of videos already downloaded and music downloaded in case the internet quality is not good and I don't like their entertainment options. I have books downloaded. I have my stitching projects. I can sketch. I can journal. I do have my watercolor set if I decide I want to go that route. So hopefully all of those things will make that 14-hour plus flight feel a little bit more comfortable. The only thing that I will probably add is that I will likely go to Walgreens right before the flight and buy a few snacks to put in my personal item stash, because the snacks at the airport are so very expensive. And hopefully I won't be wide awake all 14 plus hours. My hope is that I'm able to sleep about 5 or 6 hours of the flight so that I can at least feel human when we land. I will try to check back in later and let you guys know how this all worked out and whether, you know, I made good choices in my packing or not. But that is the plan for now. I'll catch up with you soon. Bye.